Okay, everybody, I finally got around to doing the colored version of my Sesshoumaru inks, and I actually got my video to work, so I'm really happy. Initially, this took about an hour and a half to do, or well, an hour and a half of video, so I kind of had to speed it up a little more than I would have liked, but it's okay because it works out. What you're seeing me start with here is I decided to do a background with watercolor as opposed to my Copics because I'm trying to save some of my ink. I don't really have the money to replace all the ink I've been using, so I'm trying to use it sparingly until I can either pick up some commissions or whatever to start replacing the materials I've been using. I have not used watercolors since high school, so this was this is interesting to say the least because I was never very good with them to begin with, but luckily this brush, it's a one of those, I think it's a Pentel or whatever, refillable. It's got the little water reservoir in the actual brush, and then you could just kind of give it a little squeeze to get extra water to thin out your colors and things like that. Yeah, so I experimented around a lot with this for a very long time. This is what took a majority of my time. I kind of was going for like a dark cloud sort of nighttime thing going on back there, but it just didn't work out, so it just kind of turned into like this purple blue, light purple sort of mess. But that's okay because it kind of works because I didn't even think about it as I was doing it, but it kind of mirrors his facial markings and it mirrors the the colors I chose for his kimono. And it offsets all of the white that's naturally in Sesshomaru's character design, his little shoulder fluff and his hair and everything. But yeah, I'm sitting here, man, watching this playback is hilarious because I remember I was getting frustrated because it seemed like I was adding too much water and not enough water, and really what it is I just need more practice with my watercolors. I haven't, like I said, used them since high school, and we're talking that's about 15 years or more. Little hint on my age there. Yeah. So, of course I'm getting a phone call in the middle of recording. Why wouldn't I get a phone call in the middle of recording? And I can't answer it, so, because you guys are more important right now. So I have 21 minutes I have to do a voiceover for, so I'm not going to talk a whole lot, hopefully. I'm going to take a couple breaks, and I will be drinking, well, not like drinking alcohol, but I'll tell you what, I'm about ready for some. I'll be drinking water because I'm very dehydrated at the moment, because when I'm doing my artwork and stuff like that, I forget to do things like drink and eat. And I'm super thirsty right now. So I'm finally finished. I wanted a nice gradient from like pale to darker color, and I think I managed that, but once it dried, it kind of had a muddy appearance to it, so I wasn't very happy about that. Yeah, but it's okay. It was a learning thing, and what can you do? That brush actually gives me a ton of precision. So, because initially I was really worried that I didn't have any like masking fluid, and I didn't want to use my rubber cement because that's not precise either to protect the liner and everything. And I wasn't going to sit there and tape it off because, God no. So I got really lucky that there was so much precision in the brush itself. So yeah. I'm going to have to switch over because I can't get my clips to merge together, so I'm a little ticked off about that. So I'm going to have to do a separate voiceover. Oh, look, hair dryer. Oh my god, I haven't done that in years. It was so exciting. I like have my hair dryer, my pretty pink hair dryer and everything. I was so tickled with it. Ah. And I can't remember if I start Copiking or not. I think yeah, it took me a while because, like a good artist, I had all my materials ready to go, i.e., I didn't. So, like, there's a big pause here of me just kind of getting all my crap together. I rearranged my office a little bit. Oh, yeah, and I had to get my snacks, guys. Those are little twist. I even kept the name brand off, so you guys, YouTube cannot get me for anything. I had to have snacks, but I'm sitting there trying to get all the things together. I did have a color swatch right there ready to go. I just needed to get all my markers out, but I put them all away because I done the swatch book, or the cover swatch for the, oh, what are they called? The Moleskine books. So I'd put them all away and they were all in different orders. And I was like, I have to pull it all out. Let's talk about the art though. Yeah, there we go. See, that's my first major mistake is I normally don't do the darkest shadow first, but I don't even know why I was thinking it, and I normally do not use grays or blacks to shade. I just didn't have a color that was going to work. Really what I wanted was like a nice sort of brown gold, but I didn't have one because I wanted to offset, you know, because he is of Asian descent. I kind of wanted to give him more of a yellow skin tone versus my regular Caucasian tones, and well, it didn't happen, so it kind of looks but it actually ends up blending and looking okay. I'm still not thrilled with it, but there's not a whole lot I could do. Limited colors, and I should have just pulled out my color pencils, but I wanted to do Copics. Yeah, so here I go with my Copics, doing an awesome job. And then as I was going, I was finding all the ones that need refills, and I do have to refill at one point on this. I was getting a little frustrated because, again, I've got my commissions open to try and make money so I can start replacing my materials, but, you know, nobody has money right now to afford commissions, and I understand that. So I'm like, well, that's all right. I'll just figure it out. Maybe I'll ask Aaron for a little bit of cash to start replacing my inks and things like that. Because you get 25 refills in the ink wells. So, I mean, it's not like it's not worth the cost. I wonder why it slowed down there for a second, but whatever. Yes, there I go. Like, the skin isn't really difficult. It's figuring out the facial shape and how I want to go with it. Do I want to give him cheekbones? Do I want to pronounce his little cheek round or whatever? And with certain characters, it's easier, but with Sesshoumaru in particular, yeah, I would imagine that he has a strong jaw to begin with, and I drew that in. But as far as the oh, what's that called? Ugh. There's the apple, which is where you put your blush, and then there's the little jaw, the cheekbone, well, whatever. Where the cheekbone is, though, as I don't like accentuating that very much in anime characters, just because typically when they are, it's because they're trying to either show off age or they're trying to show off sort of like a overlay manly man sort of facial shape. And Sesshoumaru isn't any of that because he's got a baby face. Oh, yeah. So, finishing up the skin tones, and I think I go back and I mess with it a little bit more. The light, unfortunately, saturated quite a bit of the color I was putting on there, and I wasn't very happy with that. I didn't realize it until a lot later, especially when I started doing his fluffy. I just wasn't thinking about it. I mean, I'm trying to be able to see what I'm working on, and, you know, more light the better, but I didn't realize it wasn't recording that well because, you know, glass reflective screens and all that good fun stuff. So yeah, there I go. I'm starting on the fluffy. And I'm grabbing a snack. They were good too. Yeah, that fluffy, I'll tell you what. Okay, so I was waiting here to see if it was going to make me start a new voiceover for the second part of the clip, but it was awesome and it just went straight into it, so I'm very happy about that. Basically, the technique I did for his fluffy was dotting, not dotting, but small circles, dotting, whatever you wanted to call it. It's not really stippling or stifling or whatever you want to call it. I just try to do small circles, and because, like, normally, like, if I was doing it digitally, I could get, like, the fur looking pattern to it, but I didn't really want to risk messing it up, because I knew that it would work for if I just dabbled and circled and stuff like that. Oh, here I go, I'm doing a refill. If you guys have never seen a Copic refill before, here's your chance. Basically, you get the inkwell, the replacement ink, and you just go in drop by drop. I usually put about 15 to 20 drops in. The goal is to saturate the top brush and then keep an eye on the bottom one to see if it's absorbing that moisture. So you want it to go all the way through. And it's really not a big deal. It's time consuming. But it was really quick because I was in like 8 times fast forward. So there you go. And I struggled with this because I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted the shadows to go and how far out I wanted them to go. And at the same time, I wanted to keep, see, I moved the light too. I wanted to keep everything blended and just pretty. And I don't know, like part of me is like, well, it is what it is, and it turned out how it turned out. The picture itself still looked really good, but I wasn't happy with how his fluffy turned out. Like the back part behind his head there, I think turned out good, but the front part was just like, I don't know, I think I was attempting too many different light sources or something when I clearly have one direct light source. And I was just like, not planning things through. What can I say though more about, because I know why people are watching this. They're watching this to look for Copic techniques and stuff. My advice on Copic techniques of any kind is look up YouTube videos. There's tons of them out there to show you how to get certain textures and certain styles. But really, you're not going to learn if you don't experiment. I mean, that's all I do. I've never taken a class, as you can tell. I just grab the marker and I do with it what I can do with it. And if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. You know, this is just all learning for me, and that's what makes art such a wonderful medium to begin with. Is it's like Bob Ross says, you know, there are no mistakes. There's only happy accidents. So, you know, it might not be perfect, it might not be exactly how you wanted it to be, but you'll find a way to make it work if you keep working at it. And if you make a mistake, I almost 99.9% of the time, you are the only one who knows you've made a mistake, unless you say something, which I always say something because I like laughing at my mistakes. I think it's great. You know, I think it's, every mistake is an opportunity for me to learn. So, like here with the hair, I had no clue what I was doing with it. Like, again, I've been so spoiled on digital coloring that if I don't like the way the hair looks, I just destroy the layer and start a new one. But with traditional mediums, you can't do that. You have to work with what you got. It forces you to think. Well, think before you put the medium down, but then you have to think afterwards when you've made what you consider a mistake. Oh, let's see. I know I was getting messages a lot. It's like I had everything turned off, but like I was still getting messages all night long. Oh, and you know, I'll go ahead and go into this since you guys basically can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm just making long strokes, flicking my wrist, and whatever. And with Sesshomaru's hair, technically it's supposed to be silver. If you ever read like the art books and stuff, his hair is supposed to be considered silver, not white. So I tend to go more gray with his and Inuyasha's hair than I do anything else. It's just that white's easier in animation because then you can just shade with the silver instead. But I do keep some areas white, and I do go in and add white highlights later on. But I'll go into this anyway since you guys, like I said, can see exactly what I'm doing. I did take my test today, and it was really awesome. I got a 94%, which totally makes up for my failed test last week. It actually pulls me up. If you average it out, I think it's like a... I think like an 85 or an 86% on both tests, which is good because that brings my overall grade up. And I got a bonus point, so it's actually probably closer to a 96%, but we won't get that. I'm very tired too because I had to export this thing. Like I exported it overnight. I went to bed at like 1 thinking, okay, it'll export overnight. It's going to take 2 hours, whatever. Woke up this morning and it didn't export. Like it stopped as soon as I went to bed, and I was like, no. So I had to go, I was trying to export it as one big clip so that way I wouldn't have to do and work with 2 clips. But what I ended up doing was just opening everything in iMovie so I could do my voiceovers, which I really, like, iMovie works. I just feel like I can't do as good of quality stuff with it, but I can make it work for what I need it for. And maybe someday when I make it big on YouTube, I'll get something big better. That'll be the day. But anyway, so yeah, jumping around from topic to topic here, just kind of randomly. I did finish it. I opened it this morning. I was gonna go work out, and then it didn't happen because I was like, no, I want to get this done. I want to get it uploaded because I uploaded the final art last night on my Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram and Facebook. But I didn't have the video at all ready, and I probably should have waited for the video. But yeah, I'm getting it done now, and I'm gonna do that. Then work out, then go tan, then I'm gonna come home, and then I'm gonna work on homework because my teacher was awesome and put up a narrated PowerPoint for us because we have class pick on Monday and it's during class time. Go figure. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that and try to get ahead and finish up some paperwork so I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the semester. Okay, because if I have less to worry about, then the more I can draw, more time I have to do the things I like to do, well, enjoy doing. I mean, I enjoy school too, but man, I didn't even bother like to shave down my caterpillar arms or nothing. I just kind of went into this, didn't I? That's okay though. Hair happens. Alright, so I'm kind of getting to the point of the hair. I kept working the hair, working it over and over again just because I wasn't thrilled with it. But I think at some point I just kind of gave up and I waited to see what the markers were going to do when they got completely dry, because that's really one of the things with Copics is you have to give them a second to dry, because like with all paint and all mediums, they look differently, except, well, I guess except for color pencil, but markers in particular, they have a dry time and then they do shift in color a bit, and that's why you do your swatches. Oh, let me see, I think I was finally getting around to adding some darks. Oh yeah, now I'm doing the facial marks. Yeah, I was gonna, I wanted to do so much more with those facial marks. I wanted to like outline them because like the marker spread a little bit and made them not as fine point as I wanted to, as clean of lines as I wanted them to be. Yeah, there's my elbow. Check it out. It kind of looks like a knee. I was sitting there looking for more markers to try and add to or do whatever. Oh, I remember I was looking for, and I forgot to put it in. I'll have to put it in later. Is he does have like a stripe on his eye. It's a redder stripe, and I didn't have a color to match it, and I didn't want to get into my Prismacolors to try and find something. Water is delicious. And here again, I go into things not really knowing what I want to do, so I just kind of made it up as I went along. So this right here, and yeah, I suggest everybody just, you know, have a plan. Don't just go into things without knowing what you're doing, because that's when you start to get frustrated. But that's again the way it goes. Like the blue is hard to work with because I have a hard time blending it. I had B28 and B29, and they're so close in color that they were sort of a pain in the butt to work with. I really needed something that was a couple points darker. So I ended up grabbing a purple, I believe. And I just kind of added that in to make it sort of a deeper color. And then I think at the end, it wasn't blending the way I wanted it to, so I just kind of gave up and grabbed like a B, let me see. A B14, which is a super light blue. Excuse me. And I just kind of blended it together and left it alone. But again, a lot of this was just poor planning. I didn't really... Clothing normally isn't a difficult thing for me. I can usually manage to make it look pretty darn good. I just hadn't planned anything out in this case, so it didn't really make sense the way I did it. So again, I was just kind of wanting to get the video done and to get it up. Really, the main things to take away from this video that I feel are beneficial to people and that I'm relatively decent at is the skin tones, and in this case probably the hair turned out really decently, I think. And that's my stomach. Yeah, but really, I mean, that's my advice to you guys, is to just Get out there, grab your materials, and work with them. You'll learn what works best for you, because you can go take a class, learn a technique, and have that technique that you're taught not really mesh with what you actually like to do. So, I mean, just get the material and play with it. You'll eventually figure out how you like to use it. The classes are good. They teach you good technique and everything. I've never taken one. They don't offer them in my area ever. But yeah, I guess that's my only advice other than keep looking on YouTube for coloring videos. I know Bailey J Creations does quite, well, it's not Bailey J Creations anymore, it's just Bailey J, and she does a lot of tutorials. And then there's Art a la carte. Actually, I'll write a note and I'll make sure to link those into my description, because they're both really good YouTubers to get advice on drawing and art and style and everything. And they're both super, super nice people. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and link those two YouTube channels in particular in my description. But I'm getting close to the end here. I went ahead and I scanned the image, and I'll toss a full-size image at the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and comment below, and have a good day.